Hello everyone, MFPallytime here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing very well today, as always. In today's video, we have a solo queue Illaoi commentary. We've shown her a lot on the channel, and I'm sorry for that. We'll show off some other characters soon. But it's all been in duo ranked. It's been in our ladder climbing series that we stream live on Mondays every week on Twitch. This one, I talk about my item build a lot more. I talk about my thought process on the character a lot more. And I've been playing a ton of Illaoi behind the scenes. I definitely have an upwards of 50 games on this character just in mid, just trying out different item combinations, trying to figure out what I like and what works the best for me. And in today's video, I'm going to share it. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And we'll be back soon with another solo commentary with another character that's not Illaoi. This is not an Illaoi channel, but it might be mostly an Illaoi channel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we found ourselves on Summoner's Rift today. The friendly team Gragas, the brand new, as of today, reworked Udyr. I'm playing Illaoi in the mid lane, and we have an Irelia ADC down in the bottom lane with a Yuumi attached to her. Bit of a weird setup today, but we'll still try to make the best of it. The enemy team is a Kled up top, Kayn in the jungle, a Vel'Koz across from me in the middle, and Draven Thresh down in the bottom lane. Just looking at the enemy, just looking at compositions, the enemy team seems to have a bit better of one, but I know an Irelia can pop off without any notice whatsoever. I've seen it happen firsthand. So we've shown off a lot of Illaoi on this channel during our ranked series. I've played about 50 games on this character leading up to that, and she is a character that I want to continue to climb on inside of the middle lane. I do kind of feel bad because a lot of our content has been focused on her and not very much variety, but I swear after this week we'll start to branch out a little bit more, at least for our solo commentaries. Like I said, she is a character I want to climb on. First things first, my passive spawns these tentacles on a 20-second cooldown. Every single match I need to stand on these two locations to get these tentacles down. Our Q ability is a straight line skill shot called Tentacle Smash. It allows us to throw our weight around a little bit and slam a tentacle down directly from our character. Fantastic lane clear once we get a few levels in it. Our W ability allows us to reset our auto attack timer and then also get a little dash on our auto attack. Every time we use our W ability, our tentacles are going to right. Okay, so I have played against one of these before, but I don't believe he was in the middle lane. I think it was actually down bottom. Vel'Koz has some very unique skill shots where he's trying to shoot them to the side of you and then actually hit you with the point of those skill shots. So we'll try to avoid that whenever possible. I have to get this last minion for that one guy who's keeping track. There we go. First 6 in the bag. Now, a lot of my aggression won't really start until level 3, but now that we're level 2, we have access to our W ability. I don't know where the enemy jungler started. I wasn't paying attention. And we probably should be at least somewhat aware of that, but so far we haven't missed a CS, and I'm not going to stop now. One more minion here. Let's make sure we take it, and then I will move up to ward. Not too worried about bullying this guy yet. As you can clearly see, my main job is just to make sure that I secure gold for myself, secure XP for myself, and do that in a relatively safe manner. Our next tentacle's coming up right now, and we can start to be pretty aggressive here. Let's start to use our W ability to kind of clear this wave. You can see every time we use our W, our tentacles in the area will lash out at anything nearby. It's actually super duper fun. We have the enemy jungler jumping in on me. We're going to go ahead and exhaust him and start to back up using my W as I'm kiting back. Every time one of my tentacles lands on an enemy, we're going to be healed. And we kite all the way back to tower and survived that 2v1 no problem. The sustain Illaoi has is absolutely incredible. In fact, I don't really even have to leave here. I was thinking about backing, but we're still actually in our prime. Let's just clear this wave. All I have to do is land an E on Vel'Koz, and we're right back in a pretty healthy position. Our E ability sucks the soul right out of an enemy's body and then allows me to damage it. That's a long run, my dude. And then allows me to damage it. 25% of the damage that I do to the soul of an enemy gets transferred to the enemy. If they leave the area of effect after I pull the soul out of their body, then they will be cursed, or if I kill their soul, they will also be cursed. So here's everything I'm talking about. Every time we use our W, our tentacles will also hit that. Every time our tentacles hit an enemy or their soul, I get healed. All of my sustain really relies on tentacle management, as well as making sure that I actually land my E abilities. By not backing, we're still continuing to add pressure against this lane. Let's make sure we get this cannon. Actually just missed it. Not planning on staying too much longer. We have 29 CS to Vel'Koz's 17, and I feel pretty good about that. Now, I have been changing my build drastically behind the scenes with every game. So if you've been watching our ranked sessions on Mondays, things may be looking different. I don't really build a Divine Sunderer anymore. I don't really like it. One of the most controversial things I do is get this item right here. This is a Tear of the Goddess. Every time I cast an ability, it's going to give me more bonus mana. This is strictly for me. I'm not saying anyone should actually follow this part of my build order, because I'm playing around my frustrations. And one of the most frustrating things for me is when I run out of mana and can't continue to pressure my opponents as well. Even into the late game, I hate running out of mana. So the way I avoid that is not by casting spells less, absolutely not. The way we avoid that is by getting a Tear of the Goddess early and trying to stack it up for later in the game. Again, this puts me 400 gold behind my opponent, but I am getting a benefit of having way more pressure in lane. Looks like Vel'Koz is continuing to stay here. I don't have a tentacle up, so we're not going to do too much damage to this thing, but we'll just move up and punch it every now and then. Our E ability is what we're going to be skilling up throughout this game. We have 3 points in it right now, and that's going to continue to grow as this game progresses. I do have 1 tentacle down to my right. We kind of need another one, so I'm waiting on my passive. We'll use our W to make sure we are securing these last hits. Well, he was just kind of standing out in the open. Our ultimate abilities allows me to slam the ground. For every enemy I hit, we spawn an additional tentacle, and the souls of enemies actually count as enemies as well. As he kills that, we'll just try to replace it instantly. Not going to be able to do that, but I am moving up here. We're going to ult and boom! Okay, I used my W on the clone, and I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have used it on Vel'Koz, but you know what? That worked out relatively okay. And those are the moments for Illaoi that I absolutely fucking love. It looks like everything's going wrong. It looks like everything is about to be over. But then we use that sustain that we have. We use the burst from our ultimate ability and absolutely destroy someone's good time. And now we're going to do it again. Exhaust on the enemy Kayn as he's jumping in. We chase after him with our W abilities and let our tentacle do the rest of the work. And what do you know? We turned that gank into an opportunity to be even more dominant here. Now, Vel'Koz is going to be returning soon, so I'm going to back up right now. Looks like the friendly team has 4 kills to the enemy's 2. I don't want to push this lane because I think the enemy Vel'Koz will be back before that connects. So, what have we been building? Well, I just started going for this on our last stream, and I do like the way it progresses. We're going to try to build a Black Cleaver first. This gives us 45 attack damage, 30 health, and 30 ability haste. Every time we hit an enemy, we're also going to be reducing their armor as well. And we can actually rack up quite a few hits in a row if you count in our tentacles and resetting our autos with our W. That can actually stack up pretty fast. But the Kindle Gem, which is one of the components that builds into the Black Cleaver, is going to help us with our in-lane sustain as well. So we have mana sustain from the Tear of the Goddess, and we also have health sustain not only from our potions, from our refillable potion, but from the just base health return that we're getting on top of that. We kind of need to reset up our Tentacle Sanctuary here if we can, just avoiding skill shots to the best of my ability in the interim. We can poke at this guy with our Q every time he walks up. Well, there's a lot of new abilities that I just learned about. He is doing a pretty good job of applying pressure. Oh, and you hate to see that. Okay, so the hardest part of playing Illaoi is if you miss your E, everything falls apart. And I mean everything falls apart. So there are a few tricks we can do to make our job a little bit easier. I'm not quite there yet, but eventually I'll be able to just use a Q on the backline enemy minions, on the mage minions, and that will clear out those minions instantly. That means I can use my Q ability to kind of hide the cast of my E in certain situations. We're about to get a... Oh, just grab that. Just take that. We're about to get another... Wow, that's burning for so much health. Okay, I don't think I back up here. Ooh, good shot. I still don't think I back up here. Let our potions do their job. Let my health regen. That's why we have our talent. That's why we have our runes. Everything should be fine. Our jungler thinking about coming in here as well. We have a ton of tentacles, so literally if I just land a single attack versus this guy, I'm gonna be okay. Looks like the jungler is leaving. Should I back up? Not if I land that. Back up, hit the Q. This guy's cursed now, so for the next like 13 seconds, he's gonna be spawning tentacles around him. Let's just clear this wave and push it into him if we can. We need to stay a little more out of his range. And notice how much health regen I got from that Kindle gem that we picked up earlier. That basically allowed me to stick around for as long as I need. We're immediately going to use our ult and hit Kane for as much damage as we can. When he leaves my body, we follow up with a kill. Now our jungler running in for the Vel'Koz, taking tower shots for it. Is that worth it? I don't know, but I stole that from him and he didn't get anything. All right, all of a sudden we're 3-0 and middle lane is looking really good. With the jungler dead and the middle lane dead, we know that we can push in quite far and start to use some of our runes to beat up this tower. Another trick you can do for Illaoi is using your W ability after your auto attack, because again, it resets your auto attack timer to just get a little bit more damage out on these towers a little faster. I don't think I'm gonna get that plate. He's gonna be back pretty soon, so let's just try to clear this wave as fast as possible. Hit that plate, and I will see myself out with 160 more gold. We are 24 CS ahead of our enemy. That's more than 3 waves. We have 3 kills up on our enemy opponent as well, and every time the jungler has stopped by my lane, he's been put into his place very abruptly. With that gold, we can build our black cleaver. This is fantastic. Our next item is actually going to be our mythic item, and to make my life easier, this is what I started doing. Now, by default, League shows me all of the fighter items here, but I'm actually going to be shopping in the tank section for a moment. My next item is going to be the Frostfire Gauntlet. By building that, not only do I become a lot more sturdy with high levels of magic resist, armor, and health, but every single attack I do versus an enemy is also going to create a small slowing field. The reason that is significant for us, the reason we want that, I'm kind of waiting on a couple more tentacles here before I do anything drastic. We're just kind of chilling. The reason that slow field is important is because so much of our character lives and dies by our ability to land our E. And if enemies are slowed all of the time, wouldn't you know, landing your E becomes a lot easier. Rather than me just kind of hoping that my skill shot lands, we can start to be a little more proactive with whether or not that skill shot lands. Okay, so I'm going to walk right up to the minions queue and immediately throw an E through it. Just missed, unfortunately, but that's one of the combos you can pull off. We can also use our W to jump forward on a minion. He's playing really far back, but something like this, and then as we're forward, there we go, we just pull his soul out of his body and beat him the fuck up. Now he's cursed, so for the next several seconds, tentacles are going to be spawning after him, and we're basically in control of the lane now. He moved up and did all of that poking, but the moment we land an E and kill the soul, we are in charge. Now, we can also do this under tower quite effectively as well, because the initial cast of our E doesn't actually deal damage to an enemy. It simply removes their soul from their body. Kane's still trying to move up on some of my stuff here. I'm just going to exhaust him, move towards the Vel'Koz, use my ultimate ability to spawn in some tentacles, and then I ended up flashing out there. I got a little scared there. Didn't want to die. We have a really good record right now. I wanted to hold on to that a little bit longer. Looks like Udyr is feeling pretty good, chasing him down quite a ways. We have health regen from our item. We're regenning 4.5 a second, so I would personally like to stay here. Oh, Kane's slowing me down in the enemy bottom lane, rotating up. Okay, we have met our demise here. Again, this could have been alleviated by me just using my wards that I've held on to for the entire game. Or maybe looking at the mini-map at some point. The friendly team has 13 kills to the enemy 6. I am 4 of those kills myself. And let's start to build out this next item. First thing we need is Bammy's Cinder. This is 2 health gems put together. This is going to give us health, but also allow us to immolate out a little bit of damage around our character. The reason I'm not rushing for upgrading boots, and again, this may not be this may not be advice that you want to follow. I'm just telling you my thought process here. Is because as Illaoi, I really need the setup time to get my tentacles in place. I really need setup time to make sure that when I use my ability, my W ability, we actually have extra damage coming out from that. One of the ways we could do that is with our ultimate ability, but another way we could do it is just by, standing in an area we want to be. And because of that, I don't feel quite as confident roaming around the map as what a lot of other mid lane characters would do. I want to be in a position where I know that I'm going to be taken care of. And because of that, I don't think boots are quite as of a priority for me as they would be for like a melee assassin or any kind of assassin in the middle lane. Because I'm going to be spending most of my time walking towards this tower over and over and over again. The enemy team does seem to be taking Dragon right now, and they seem fairly well along on that process as well. I'm just going to walk in and hope for the best here. We see Thresh setting down his barrier. We pull his soul right out of his body, and I'm just going to deal some damage to this while I can. He is cursed because he moved out of the area. We're going to rip another soul right out of their body and try to do the same thing. This one belonging to Vel'Koz. Now the enemy team's jungler fighting us here. I don't have exhaust, or I would use it, but I do get his soul, and we pull it back to us to deal even more damage. He is once again cursed. So we disperse the area. That's about all we could do. I can use my tentacles to help secure his jungle camps to put him even further behind, or at least that was the hope. If he's going to continue to sit here, we'll just ward this bush. With middle lane deceased, we have a lot of confidence that we could sit here and pull this off. I'm not convinced he is respecting me here. Let's pull his soul back out of his body. Oh, that's not good for you, bud. Actually, he got a lot of health back there. What the fuck? I don't know how Kane works, dude. I don't know how Kane works, bro. I thought that was going really well for me. Notice my mana's starting to get low. If we just spam out abilities like we have been and we didn't have a tier, I would have been out of mana 20 minutes ago. We would have warped into that dragon. I wouldn't have had anything, and then I would have left. That's why I build tier nearly every single game. Now, I could also be a little more proactive with asking my team for their blue buff, or alternatively invading the enemy jungle more and trying to take their blue buff when I see opportunities to do that. And that's something I'm trying to work into my gameplay a little bit more. That just takes some time. Looks like the enemy team's Thresh has jumped behind us. We're going to pull his soul out of his body and just beat that up back here, securing that kill. Now remember, when we pull his soul out, we're only dealing 25% damage to that. But if his health is that low, the odds of us actually being able to kill him are pretty high. I went ahead and exhausted the Vel'Koz as he was running through. We have his soul out over here, and I'm dealing decent damage to it. I'm not going to ult this, though. I don't think I'll kill it. So he is not cursed, and our mana is kind of on the low side. But our push here is actually looking pretty good still. If I can grab him again, that would be excellent. Just no minions. He's clearing that out really quickly. Our lead on CS is continuing to grow. We're about 40 ahead of him right now. As we go back, we have 2,000 gold to spend, and I'm going to spend it on my mythic item. Now, look how easy this makes our character. Ability haste is also something that we want because we want to be able to spam out our W ability more. So I think this mythic makes a lot of sense for what we're trying to do. Now, we are kind of becoming a tank, way more so than what most mid laners would do. But that just means I can frontline for my team even more. We have a Gragas over here who's going to be a huge frontline as well. I think we're going to have a pretty okay time, or you know, at least I hope so. Dragon is up. Maybe we start to work on these things a little bit more. I want to secure my boots when my tower is dead, and it looks like my tower is about to die now. Although there is a fight kind of looming in the middle lane. Looks like most people are backing up for the time being. Thresh and Draven kind of pushing far forward in the bottom lane. I really just want to take this. Guys, what if I just jump on this? How do we feel about that? Udyr's jumping in here. We have 5 members of the friendly team down here. How's that ADC? Aurelia is actually working out pretty good. Came through the wall, tries to get... Oh, I ulted so late. Came through the wall, tries to get a steal on that dragon, but it's just not going to happen today. I'm going to flash forward, use my W to engage, and try to kill off this guy's soul. If he runs out of the way, he's going to be cursed, which he is now. That means I have total control over everything that's going on here. Let me clear this lane instantly. My lane's already pushing in. With 2 members of the enemy team dead, and we know we just cursed our enemy mid laner, we should be able to walk up here with full confidence. Let me just rip that out. You don't need that, right? You don't need that, right, bud? Actually, Yuumi picking up the kill on him there and dying. Okay. All right, with middle lane cleared, we're going to be roaming around a lot more now, so I do want to finish my boots. It's just not a high priority for me to actually get that done. Now, if the enemy team had a lot of skill shots that I was actually worried of, maybe we would prioritize that a little bit higher. But as of right now, I think we're doing okay. Udyr is running towards the Rift Herald with only 20 seconds left. Is that enough time? Is he actually... I don't think he's actually taking the Rift Herald. All right, that's fine. That's fine. We moved up to help, but that's okay. Now, when I pick my boots, I need to ask a few questions. How many stuns does the enemy team have? Do I need to really worry about tenacity? And then, who is actually the most fed? I think Draven's probably the biggest threat to me, so I'm going to take these plated boots, which give us a little bit more armor and finally give us that movement speed increase. Okay, Gragas is split push in the bottom lane. He has got a 3-level lead on these dudes, so I actually feel like this push is going to go just fine. I'm not taking my eyes off of it, though. Dude, Thresh just comes so close to walking into that bush so many times. He lands the Everfrost, but then does absolutely nothing with the Hold on, bud. This way. I do have my ultimate. Draven was pretty far forward there. I'm going to just exhaust. There is the Soul Steal. He should be cursed. There's the curse. Okay, perfect. So when I say curse, I want to make sure I'm fully articulating what that means. It just means that they're going to be slowed initially, and then for the next, I don't know how many seconds, it feels like forever, they're going to have tentacles following them around the map. Now, they can dodge all these tentacles fairly easily, but what usually happens is they just run away, and then I get free pressure on my lane for as long as I need it. He stopped there just a little too short, and I wasn't able to connect with our E. I'm diving in under tower, though, and we should be pretty tanky doing it, using my ult to spawn more tentacles, and we pick up a... That wasn't a double kill, but it does allow our team to move in and take down this tower. Now, should I have died there? Probably not. We had enough meat under tower that they could easily move in and take that for me if they wanted to, but still, we allowed our team to push in with that aggression and make something happen for it. Unfortunately, Irelia is going to be hooked into towers, and she never quite got out of that tower range. The friendly team taking a lot of damage down there in the bottom lane. Okay, as we are rezzing, we are at the point where we need to decide if we want to keep this tier of the goddess and build it into something, or if we want to just get rid of it. We may have a little bit more time to figure that out. I've got to sell my potion, and we are going to start to build into Sterex Gauge. This is going to make it so if I get low on health, which happens a lot, we're going to give ourselves a shield that allows us to kind of delay the inevitable death that's coming my way. And by delaying that death, it allows us to get more tentacles down. It allows us to use our W ability more. It allows us to kite around fights a little bit more and just sustain on the front line even longer. With a Yuumi on our team, that's actually pretty ridiculous. Kled is trying to move away. He is slowed. I do not land the E on him, though. I want to get a ward down in their jungle and try to get an idea of where they're pathing to. There is an enemy Kayn above me. Let's start rotating towards that. Landed my E. Perfect. Kane is dead. Moving to the back line with the W, and and everybody's dead. Okay, perfect. Now we move right back immediately to the lane and make sure that we do something with this downtime that we have, namely pushing towards that middle inhibitor, trying to gain ground on this enemy team. Please, towers, stop fighting me. Just stop. I think Gragas could tank this relatively well. I think I could tank this relatively well. So this should be a dead inhibitor here. We have 3 members of the enemy team currently deceased, and they're not back up just yet. We have 7 more seconds until we need to roll out of here. And I'm going to ping Dragon on the way out. A few other members of the team doing the same. Make sure we're all on the same page. Now, rather than just walking straight to that Dragon, I don't know why she's staying. What I'm going to do is clear the enemy jungle on the way to that, if there's anything for me to take. The idea being that there's going to be an infinite number of minions in waves, right? I can't stop enemies from farming waves, but if I take their jungle, if I cripple their jungle, if I stop it from respawning, that's gold denied for quite some time. Or at least that's the mentality. Friendly team starting to group up. We see the enemy top laner still in the top lane, so this should be a fairly easy dragon for us to secure. Let's get a tentacle in just to get some credit for assisting. Now Gragas is being pressured in the jungle above us. I'm going to head directly for the back line here. I'm going to let my team figure out what they're doing over there. Yes, hook me in. Great. Good. Let's use our ult right over here. Oh, all right, so that's a perfect example for where Steric's Gauge would have saved us a little bit of damage. It would have bought us just a little bit more time there. Unfortunately, with the Vel'Koz ult and the damage from Thresh and Draven, my sustain went away almost instantly. Walking into that, I feel a little too confident, I guess. We're just 50 gold away from completing that, but that's a perfect example where that item would come in handy. Because if Illaoi is not set up with her tentacles, if she doesn't have her defenses prepared, moving into a situation like that can be absolutely deadly. Now, that being said, the friendly team is on the core turrets right now. It's looking like things are going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. We're 9, 3, and 7 right now, which feels pretty good. Well, let's go ahead and buy this item. Still not sure what I want to do with Tear of the Goddess, or whether or not I want to just take it out of my build entirely. I do think the mana there really does make a difference. I do think it adds a lot to our setup. However, it does delay our first big item by 400 gold. All right, looks like the game's not over. Our entire team died in front of the core, so we got a little bit of time to mess around. The enemy team might go for a Baron here if we don't have any vision of anything. We barely have any wards down. Okay, so I'll just take blue. I'll just get myself set up. I'm just going to farm quietly. I'm not going to do anything on the map. I'm not going to show on the map. I don't want the enemy team really thinking about me until our friendly team starts to respawn here. It also doesn't really look like they're moving towards Baron quickly. We see Thresh. We see 4 members of the enemy team on the map right now. I'm going to try to beat up this Scuttle. If they confront me, I should be able to win a trade, especially with our new item that we just built up. And that would actually be nice if they gave me another opportunity to do that, because I could show you the difference of a setup with that item versus without that item. A lot of pings going down on Baron now. Their damage seems a little low. I don't know how far along they would be on that. And it looks like they completely backed out of that area. I'm literally clueless as to what this enemy team is doing at the moment. Let's put some wards down in their jungle. Oh, hey, bud. I'm going to exhaust here. Use our W. Try to back away. I have another W. Ugh. Unfortunately stunned out of it. Our team was able to rotate in time to finish off the enemy team's Kane, but unfortunately I pushed up kind of far. I guess when I saw Thresh there, I should have just backed up immediately. Yeah, that was my fault. Our next item that we're going to be building for is going to take the spot of our Doran's shield, and that is going to be the Death's Dance. This thing actually staggers the damage that your character takes over the course of 3 seconds, rather than it being all upfront damage. And again, that is a thing that we need. If we don't have our tentacles, we don't have everything set up, then taking burst damage can be absolutely lethal. Anything that lets us buy more time to get ready is a good thing. Gragas is moving down the top lane. Oh, I want to talk about another strategy we could do, and that's this Hullbreaker, right? I don't typically do it in middle lane, but Hullbreaker allows us to basically become a tanky god if we're by ourselves. The moment we group up with anyone, that goes away. And because I'm in the middle lane and people are always going to be moving through my lane and looking to gank and looking to do stuff, I typically haven't been building Hullbreaker for that exact reason. Looks like there's a bit of a lull in the intensity of this match as the enemy team is still trying to figure out what they want to do. In that bit of a lull, I'm going to help myself to this red buff. We see Kane going for Baron right now, or at least checking out the area. He's actually on it. He's dying too. Why would you do that? Why would you walk in? Why? All right. Well, Kane's throwing the game, and that's a GG. I hope you guys enjoyed our solo commentary for Illaoi. Like I said, I've been just pumping out games for this character over the past month. Really fell in love with her playstyle, and I've really enjoyed the progression of getting better at her and learning to read Lades a little bit easier. I will say that a lot of my time in normal draft has me feeling very confident. And then when we go into ranked, I get absolutely destroyed, actually, sometimes. Like, I feel so confident in my laning phase, but that doesn't always translate to the real thing. Hey, I got a champion capsule. Hey! So in this particular match, we ended up being about 3,000 gold ahead of our opponent. We got an A+, literally just under that S score, and what probably held me back was my lack of wards. I think if we warded a little bit more, we would have made it to that S rating. We did 20,000 damage, not too bad at all. Ended up being 9, 4, and 8, with most of those kills being in the late game, unfortunately. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys again with another character and a solo commentary next. Although there is probably another ranked Illaoi game before that.